Ancient Egypt is remembered for its pyramids, temples, and pharaohs crowned as living gods. But behind the grandeur of monuments lay a world dominated by fear, cunning, and absolute control. Pharaohs ruled not just through strength or wealth. Their authority relied on a careful combination of religion, political strategy, and ruthless enforcement. From birth, a pharaoh was trained to command loyalty. Advisors, generals, and priests were carefully monitored, their influence controlled. Every gesture, every decree reinforced the idea. The pharaoh was divine, untouchable, and omnipotent. Religion was the most powerful tool. Pharaohs were considered the embodiment of Horus on earth, gods walking among mortals. This divine status made rebellion not only dangerous, but sacrilegious. Priests performed ceremonies to reinforce the ruler's godlike image. Monuments depicted pharaohs defeating enemies, controlling floods, and bringing order to chaos. Every statue, temple, and relief was propaganda etched in stone. But religion alone was not enough. Pharaohs maintained power through fear. Executions were public. Treason was punished swiftly. Advisors who faltered or questioned the throne often vanished without trace. Mutilated bodies or erased names served as reminders. Loyalty was life, betrayal meant death, and often more than just physical destruction. The palace itself was a fortress of control. Secret passages, hidden chambers, traps for spies. Every room designed to protect the ruler and monitor those closest to him. Even family members were under surveillance. Siblings, wives, and children could be both allies and threats. Plots, betrayals, and assassinations were constant dangers, and the pharaoh had to anticipate every move. Military power was another cornerstone. Pharaohs commanded vast armies, which not only defended the kingdom, but intimidated rivals. Campaigns were both conquest and demonstration of authority. Soldiers rewarded for loyalty. Cities and rebellious officials punished mercilessly. Fear of force ensured obedience even in remote regions. Pharaohs also controlled information. Messengers, scribes, and records were carefully regulated. History was written to glorify the ruler and erase enemies. Rebellions that failed were sometimes never recorded. Names of defeated rivals were chiseled from monuments, their existence forgotten. Memory itself became a weapon. Economic control reinforced political dominance. Pharaohs controlled land, grain, and trade routes. Famine or wealth could be used to reward allies or punish enemies. The Nile, lifeblood of Egypt, was managed to ensure dependence on royal authority. Floods were interpreted as signs of divine favor or divine wrath, keeping the population in awe and fear. And yet, the most subtle tool of power was manipulation of belief. Magic, omens, and curses ensured obedience not through force alone, but through psychological control. The pharaoh's word was law, backed by unseen forces. Disobedience could result in natural disasters, illnesses, or death, all interpreted as divine punishment. Even succession was controlled ruthlessly. Heirs were carefully groomed, rival claimants removed, marriages arranged for alliances, children of potential rivals sometimes eliminated before they could threaten the throne. The result was a culture where power was absolute, fear was constant, and loyalty was enforced at every level. Pharaohs were not just rulers, They were gods, generals, judges, and executioners rolled into one. Every decision reinforced their supremacy, in life and even after death. But control could not rest on divine status alone. Political cunning, surveillance, punishment, and propaganda were necessary to maintain dominance. Those who failed to master these tools often met mysterious deaths or total erasure from history. The absolute control of a pharaoh did not end with proclamations or monuments.
It extended into every corner of life. The court, the countryside, the temple, and even the afterlife. In the palace, intrigue was constant. Wives and concubines, often ambitious themselves, influenced succession and policy. A single whisper could determine life or death. Children were groomed not only to rule, but to survive the deadly environment of court politics. Heirs were trained in diplomacy, deception, and occasionally in assassination, ensuring they could defend their right to the throne. Rivalry within the royal family was deadly. Siblings plotted against each other. Half-brothers eliminated for inheritance. Queens conspired to secure the throne for their own offspring. Even the pharaoh's own advisors were never entirely safe. A misstep, a word spoken at the wrong moment, could result in execution, exile, or magical curses designed to torment the soul after death. Assassinations were carefully planned, not random acts of violence. Pharaohs employed poison, concealed blades, staged accidents, and even ritualistic methods that disguised murder as divine justice. The fear of being eliminated kept advisors, generals, and officials constantly on edge. Every action was calculated, every alliance temporary. Magic and religion reinforced this control. Priests were more than spiritual guides, they were agents of power. Through rituals, spells, and omens, they validated the pharaoh's authority and punished disobedience. Temples became centers of surveillance, recording information about citizens, officials, and rivals. Curses placed in tombs warned the living, disturb the pharaoh, or face eternal consequences. Even death could not free a potential traitor from punishment. Pharaohs also mastered the art of propaganda. Monuments, reliefs, and inscriptions glorified victories and erased failures. Names of enemies disappeared from records. Statues of rivals were defaced.
The history that survived was carefully curated to ensure the pharaoh's dominance appeared absolute. This manipulation of memory was not just political, it was a weapon, a psychological tool that maintained fear and obedience for generations. Military power reinforced the pharaoh's dominance. Campaigns served both conquest and spectacle. Victories displayed in temples, carried in triumphs, reminded everyone that rebellion was futile. Even distant provinces understood that opposition meant destruction. Generals who questioned orders faced death. Civil administrators who mismanaged resources were punished severely. The army was both shield and sword, maintaining internal stability and projecting fear outward. Economic control was equally essential. The pharaoh controlled land, grain, and trade routes. Famine could be engineered or mitigated to reward loyalty or punish dissent. Monuments and public works, such as canals and temples, kept the population dependent on the ruler's decisions. The Nile itself became a tool, floods interpreted as divine favor or wrath,
reinforcing the pharaoh's role as the divine intermediary between gods and humans. Succession was the ultimate challenge. Heirs were carefully selected. Rival claimants were removed, sometimes quietly, sometimes violently. Children of potential rivals might be eliminated to prevent future rebellion. Marriages were political weapons, forging alliances or neutralizing threats. Even after death, pharaohs ensured their authority persisted. Tombs, magical protections, and curses served as deterrents against enemies daring to disturb their rule. Some of the most infamous rulers demonstrate the extremes of control. Akhenaten, with his religious revolution, imposed belief in a single god, Aten, consolidating both spiritual and political power. He altered art, destroyed previous temples, and restructured priestly authority to eliminate rivals.
Ramesses II, in contrast, relied on monumental displays of military and architectural achievement to project unchallengeable dominance. And yet, each faced plots, conspiracies, and mysterious deaths around them, proof that absolute power always attracted opposition. Even ordinary citizens were under scrutiny. Punishments for rebellion were public and brutal. Crimes could result in death, mutilation, or social ostracism. The pharaoh's reach extended through spies, priests, and officials who reported disobedience to maintain control at every level. The pharaoh's power was comprehensive: religious, political, military, economic, and psychological. It relied on fear, loyalty, manipulation, and an unrelenting surveillance system that extended into life and death. No one was exempt. The line between ally and enemy was razor thin. Even the gods themselves seemed to obey the ruler's will. And yet, for all this power, history shows that maintaining control required constant vigilance. Plots, betrayals, and mysterious deaths were never-ending. Power was not inherited. It was constantly earned, defended, and sometimes seized through bloodshed. Pharaohs maintained power not just with armies, temples, or gold. They maintained it with fear, cunning, manipulation, and an understanding of the human mind. They controlled life, death, and even memory. And centuries later, their methods still awe, terrify, and fascinate historians and archaeologists alike. Ancient Egypt was not only a civilization of gods and monuments, it was a civilization built on control, absolute, ruthless, and unyielding. The pharaoh's power was total, and everything, living or dead, was subject to it.